So this is an update from Ndamdi Kanu's case at the Federal High Court, Abuja, following the trial that has been ongoing by the federal government and the DSS. This is a full update starting from 2 days ago, which was 28th of May 2025. So the court went into session and they were going to present their evidences. The federal government was going to present their evidences, which also included the video recording of Ndamdi Kanu's interviews that he granted upon arrival in Nigeria after he was kidnapped from Kenya and brought back to Nigeria. So the SSS agents who interviewed him on record, he was presented by the DSS as a witness, right? As a witness. And he also came with his evidences. And the evidences included the video recording he took while interviewing Ndamdi Kanu. Now, something struck me, but I'm going to go through the interrogation just as it went. So it began by the federal government, the federal government lawyer started by asking the witness they brought to court questions to talk about the evidence he brought and his witnesses against Ndamdi Kanu. And the interrogation went as follows. Can you please, first and foremost is that he was asked who he is. He was identified as CCC because these are shielded men who were blindfolded. They were not allowed to be seen. So they asked him, he was labeled as CCC. And they asked him, Mr. CCC, who are you? He said he's a DSS operative and has worked with the DSS for 27 years. And he said Ndamdi Kanu, and he said he knows Ndamdi Kanu as the leader of IPOB. He also says he knew Ndamdi Kanu since 2015. And remember, it was 2015 Ndamdi Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria. So remember, we proceed. So the lawyer, the federal government lawyer, went on to ask him. He said, can you please tell the court who you are and if you know the defendant? The witness said, which is the DSS, he said, I work with the SSS. I have worked with them for 27 years. I know the defendant, which is Ndamdi Kanu. He is the leader and founder of IPOB, a terrorist organization, as he said. He founded Radio Biafra. He used to invite violence to the public. These were what the SSS or the DSS officer was saying. And I went on. My first encounter with him was in 2015. When I was asked to interrogate him after his arrest, I invited him with 3 other officers for interview. I told him his interview was going to be recorded and he agreed. He went on. He agreed to be recorded and also wrote down a statement himself. The interview was conducted on October 21st and written interview was conducted on 23rd of that same October, both in 2015. So Ndamdi Kanu actually granted a video interview and then also did a written statement. Okay. The prosecution presented the video recording, the video of that interview and the written statement of Ndamdi Kanu. He presented it to that's the lawyer, the federal government lawyer presented the video and the statement he was speaking about. He presented it to the witness. That is the witness, which is the federal government's, witness, which is the DSS officer, for him to be able to identify whether this is the video he's talking about and this is the written statement he's talking about. And the witness confirmed that the both of them is correct. Now, the lawyer went on to ask him, the federal government lawyer went on to ask him, you also told the court that the defendant made a written statement, right? The witness said, yes, my lord. The prosecution, which is the lawyer, took the permission to show the defendant the written statement obtained in 2015. Defendant is Ndamdi Kanu. The written statement is shown to the defendant, which is Ndamdi Kanu. Then the defense counsel, Ndamdi Kanu's lawyer, interjects. My client says the said written statement was under duress. Judge told the defense, you mean the 3 statements were made under duress? The judge said, Can you prove it? Otherwise, I am going to order trial within trial. You have to prove it in specifics that your client made the statement involuntarily, which is under duress. Subsequently, the judge has asked the defendant to give elements of his involuntariness to the written statement and asked that the defendant, which is Ndamdi Kanu, should be given a sheet of paper to write them down. Paul Erokoro, SAN, reads the defendant's involuntariness statement. That is Ndamdi Kanu's statement disclaiming the written statement that he wrote all those things under duress. He said, and he wrote saying, I asked for my lawyer and the DSS refused. It wasn't the gentleman in the dock that interviewed me. So Ndamdi Kanu said it was not that man who the DSS presented as the witness that actually interviewed him. The man claimed he was one that interviewed him, but Ndamdi Kanu just said he wasn't the one who interviewed him. It was one Mr. Brown. I was in dungeon and was allowed 1 hour of airtime, but Mr. Brown threatened that if I did not write down what they wanted, the 1 hour airtime will be taken away from me. I was forced by the DSS agent to write down some words against my will, and I was bleeding from the nose at the time. The judge now said, what do you, he was talking to the prosecution, have to say about the said involuntariness? The prosecution said, which is DSS lawyer, the federal government lawyer said, he was not beaten to make these statements. The CCC guy, which is the lawyer, said, yes, my lord. Judge orders trial within trial. So the judge ordered that statement, that written statement should be subjected to trial within trial to determine whether or not the statement made by the defendant was not under duress. So now let me explain what trial within trial means. It's a legal procedure used in a criminal trials, particularly in jurisdictions like Nigeria, where a confessional statement or a statement is made by the accused person admitting to a crime is tendered as evidence. It is essentially a mini trial within the main trial, designed to specifically determine whether the confessional statement was made voluntarily or involuntarily. So, on the final day of that trial within trial, the court ruled on it, which was on the 29th, right? On the 29th, which was yesterday, the court ruled on that trial within trial. And they said, the presiding judge, Omotosho, has ruled on the trial within trial in favor of Ndamdi Kanu. All video evidences of the defendant making oral statements or written statements as presented to the court by the prosecuting team has been rejected by the court and are consequently no longer relevant to the case or to this case. The judge stated that the defendant's statement was made under duress and in the absence of his legal representatives. The judge dismissed the trial within trial case in favor of IPOB leader Mazi Ndamdi Kanu.